Hey everybody, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. Welcome to our weekly music topic video. Every Thursday, we of course have the reactions on Saturday and the vinyl reviews on Sunday. But this is my favorite videos that we do. And we go all over the map for these things. And we in this house have mentioned it on the channel quite a bit. We're very thankful for the there's a Casey Kasem station on iHeartRadio that plays nothing but American Top 40. Old countdowns 24 hours a day, and it is because of that countdown that I was like, "Ooh, I'm doing a video about this." So when I was a kid, my dad was brought up on what we in the house called country. Hank Senior, truck driving songs,
Sure.
even, you know what I mean, like country, like the country you hear joking about, like my dog left me, my wife left me, like that's like old school country. I have a very adverse opinion to what's considered country music over the past 15 or 20 years. 90s country, I feel, is its entire own being.
Yeah.
Your Tim, Alan, Dwight, Garth. That's just a whole different, in a great way.
I love that genre.
Genre. In a great way. It's its own thing. I'm going to say this. Early 80s country hits different.
It does.
It is its own thing. It is, and I don't say this with any sort of disparity. Like, it's so poppy, but so good.
I think it's because there was a lot of bleeding between the lines at that time between what would chart on the pop charts and what would chart on the country. You had a lot more crossovers before it was, I guess at that time it wasn't a big deal to be a crossover because it was just like, oh no, people just like this.
It was having, because I'm old, it was a big deal when it would cross over for more than one. For example, and this is much later and this is not on my list, but 84, 85, Lionel Richie had a cut called Stuck on You. Okay. And that was huge because it was on the pop chart, the country chart, and the soul chart. Because it is all three.
But that wasn't a country artist crossing over the other way.
No, but I'm saying,
I get
that
it.
was a big deal that it crossed over to the country chart.
Yeah.
And the soul chart and the pop chart.
Yeah.
And Kenny did that, but it's almost like cheating because a lot of what Kenny Rogers did it with was the songs Lionel wrote. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totes.
But anyways, we are going to get into songs.
Digest.
Now, I'm going to cheat automatically on the first one, but I have a reason why. So this song, because the title of the video is early 80s country classics, okay, or bangers or whatever. This song technically was released as a single in November of 79. So first of all, not 80, but like it was released as a single at the very tail end of 1979, right?
Good enough for government
work.
But
then, well, on top of that, it didn't do anything as a single until they made a TV movie out of it in 1981.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And if you know the story, I will explain in a minute. If you know how much I love the story of the song, we got to watch that TV movie sometime.
Okay.
I'm sure it's very 1981, but I would love to watch it sometime. Coward of the County by Kenny Rogers. Now, this, for me, like I say, when I was a kid, my dad loved that country, like storytelling stuff. Boy, is there a story in this song.
Sure is.
This is for real. I have to like walk the line with what I'm saying because of YouTube standards, because of a country song that was released in 1979. But there's a line in this song where the story being told in the song is that this kid's dad, he was a terrible person, ended up going to prison, and he tells his kid, whatever you do, don't fight.
Don't fight.
Whatever you do, don't fight. And his kid's like, got it. So everybody in town is always like, kid sucks, like, because he won't ever stand up for himself. So then three guys come to
take advantage of his lady at the same time.
The torn dress, the shattered look was more than he could stand.
Yeah.
They took turns at Becky, and there were three of them. Is the lyric?
It's the lyric, yeah.
And the song is just doom 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 doom, like it's like this very happy sounding song. But anyways, for me, I may even get goosebumps when I say this. When there's a part in the song where the main character is like, all right, that's enough. And there's a part where he gets to the bar and three guys are there and he turns around and they say, "Oh, look, he's leaving." And then you hear the next line is, "But you could have heard a pin drop when Tommy stopped and locked the door." And it's like every time I hear that, I'm like, "Tommy gonna whip that ass?" Like, you know, like
wholesale.
It's such a awesome storytelling song. Like, it's just
so they made a movie.
yeah. Well, and The Gambler was a movie too. So. But anyways, I know I'm coming out swinging hard with like a great pick, but like I put it right there at the top because it's kind of cheating because technically it came out in 79, but like really. The second one, I don't think anyone on earth remembers this song but me. And I don't think you had heard it until I played it.
I never heard it, but now I know it. And I've karaoke'd it.
What you have. What a great song.
So good.
Terry Gibb, Somebody's Knocking. Now I hope somebody watching this video just went, "Oh yes, what a great pick." But I feel like most people are going to be like, "I've never heard of that." Terry Gibb was a blind piano player, great deep voice, female singer with
Terry could go either way. Makes your lady voice.
Deep
lady voice.
Very deep voice and a lot of soul.
Contralto.
And the song, what's interesting is years later I would look up and be like, whatever happened to Terry? Why did she only have that one hit? It's because she had left secular music and went into Christian music. But this song, Somebody's Knocking, is about having a hot next door neighbor move in
and being like, "Oh no,"
and being like, "Oh boy,
this is a problem for me.
Oh boy, the devil's over there."
Those jeans.
Yeah. And the whole song is about being like, "Oh man, the devil put that guy there." Like, and it's so country.
It's so country.
It's so country. It's literally a woman being like, "Oh Jesus, help me, the neighbor's hot." You know, like, which I always thought it was interesting. I think dichotomy is the right word of between the fact that the artist who cut it was visually impaired, and the theme of the song is the neighbor's so hot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't. Yeah.
I always thought that was interesting.
Like, how did you know?
So if you haven't heard that one, I think if you're clicking on a early '80s country video, you probably know most of what I'm going to talk about. But if you haven't heard that one, please go check. The rolling bass line alone, I think, is worth.
It's so good.
So good. The next one I have had in my head for at least, as of the shooting of this video, at least 2 days, maybe 3.
Tell me about it.
I almost can't even say it right without singing it like it is in the chorus, but EL-VI-RAAA by the
you mean EL-VI-RAAA?
Yeah, there's no way to, like, as soon as you say EL-VI-RAAA by the you just hear that
EL-VI-RAAA
4 or 5 part harmony, 4 or 5, the EL-VI-RAAA.
I
mean, what's funny is this is the song that sparked this video because I had heard it on the Casey Kasem countdown again the other day, and I was listening to it and I thought, this song has one verse and then is just the chorus repeating and changing keys for the whole rest of the song. Like, they're just like, you know what? Take it up another half a step. We can keep this. And I learned while doing research for this, because I wanted to make sure, like with the Coward of the County thing, I wanted to make sure this was released in the early 80s like I thought it was.
Sure.
So the single version of the 7-inch is like 3 minutes and 5 seconds. The one on the album is like another minute and a half of just the
key. Just keep going up.
Yeah, of just the key changes that just keep going up. But in speaking of the key changes, I love the bop bop. Like, what are you doing? Like, nothing about this song makes sense, and it's so catchy and so fun. And like I say, the very first verse, he like tells you about her. And then the whole rest of the time, it's just them repeating, like, "No, I really love this woman." Like,
look at her.
Yeah. And again, I have to assume if you clicked on a video about early 80s country, I assume you know that one. But if you haven't heard it in a long time, listen to it again and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, but as it keeps going, you're just gonna be like, "Yeah, but that's another key change. Like, why did we love this so much as a kid?" But then the other day, I wasn't even mad at it. I was like, "Yeah, another key change." Like, I was very excited.
remember you coming out and you were just like, "Man, I love this song." And I'm like, "Okay, I know you do."
Yep. The next one, in my opinion, this has some of the most iconic lyrics to ever start a country song. Stumble to the bed and
stumble out of bed
and stumble to the kitchen. Right? Yeah, something like I say it's
pour myself a cup of ambition.
Yeah, yawn and stretch and
try to come to life.
Yeah, I say it's iconic and then I stumble all over the lyrics. But
you stumbled out of bed. And then...
Right. 9 to 5, Dolly Parton. This whole thing.
Stumble.
Yeah, there you go.
Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen.
All right, copyright.
Half a line.
Come on now. Iconic. Everything about it. I mean, this is another one where there was a motion picture and all that. And it's not like this was the first anybody had heard of Dolly, but this was, well, you talk about a crossover. This woman was everywhere.
This song hypes me up so hard. Like if I'm having a bad day at work, like hand to God, I put this song on and I'm like, Dolly can do it.
And again, I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to hit it right, but I think the second verse is like crazy underrated because you always hear the first verse. But that line where she says, the boss will never take your dreams away, and all that, it's just great stuff. That's really easy to get hyped by.
Well, you just step on the boss man's ladder.
Yeah, right. And it's crazy to me how this is another one where, like, as the song goes on, you're like, you know, in the songwriting meeting, they were just like, just throw another chorus at it. But like, when you got a chorus that good, cool.
Yeah, you know, like make it happen. This song is so great. And honestly, if you haven't seen the movie, watch it. Like it's
a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. And like,
hurry up and watch it before the reboot because that's coming.
I'm not telling you to watch the reboot. I'm telling you to watch the one with Dolly Parton and
I mean,
all my other ladies.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be good. The last one that I'm going to share. Now, this one is definitely a crossover. Like this is one that's like classified as country, but like I would easily call this pop or country.
Okay.
A song called Nobody by Sylvia. Now, this to me, the reason why I love this song so much is one, when I was a kid, are you just now remembering the song?
Yes.
That I'm talking about? When I was a kid, a lot of female country was, or a lot of what I heard, was Stand By Your Man and all that. Like, you know, there wasn't a lot of women getting a one up or demanding more that I had heard at that time. And this song is her being like, you think that I'm dumb, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like the lyric, like where she, in short, this is a guy's cheating on his wife and he just keeps being like, oh, it's nobody, you know, and she's like, yeah, I know, I know that, I know who nobody is. And I think that it was years later, and this was the #1 song when you were born, but Part-Time Lover was the same way where like the person there, the last verse of Part-Time Lover, he's like, oh, wait a minute, there's another call coming in and it's not for me. Like, oh, it turns out she's also cheating. Like if you listen to that last verse, and Nobody is that way where she's like, no, I'm aware. Like,
I know what's up.
Yeah. And this one is probably the most poppy, I think.
Yes, I agree.
Would you say? But it's very
this
much.
This got covered in the 90s.
I'm certain that it did. Yeah.
Lori Morgan. I could be wrong. I didn't look this up ahead of time, but I feel like that's right.
I bet you're right. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I feel strongly that early 80s country hits different. I
need to point out before we wrap this up that you have accidentally uncovered a very cool thread. EL-VI-RAAA aside, these are songs from people finding their power in whatever the situation might be. Coward of the county, you know, somebody's knocking, she's like, oh, you know, 9 to 5, and nobody, like, these are people people who weren't usually in a position to find their power, finding their power. And I love that's what
that's kind of fun,
inadvertently resonated with you.
And well, I mean, who's to say he might have found power with EL-VI-RAAA? Right. Once again, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. We have 3 videos every week. If you have just stumbled upon us and said, my goodness, those are really cool and fun and cute people, you can hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And we have literally 600 videos on the channel now and a ton more on the way.
You could watch it for weeks.
You could watch us all the time. But if you would please hit the like button, that helps out the channel a lot. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.